Did you know that some SUVs are so reliable that mechanics rarely see them for anything beyond routine oil changes? There are vehicles out there right now that will easily cross 300,000 miles without a single major repair. And did you know that the SUVs mechanics secretly buy for their own families aren't always the ones they're working on every day in the shop? After spending decades turning wrenches and seeing what actually breaks versus what keeps running, mechanics develop a sixth sense for true reliability. They know which SUVs come into the shop constantly with expensive problems and which ones only show up for scheduled maintenance. Today, we're revealing the 7 SUVs that mechanics actually recommend to their friends and family, the vehicles they trust enough to put their own loved ones in. These aren't just reliable for the first few years, these are SUVs built to last a lifetime with proper care. We're counting down from number 7 to the absolute most bulletproof SUV that mechanics unanimously agree will outlast everything else on the road. And before we start, I've tagged some essential maintenance products in the description that'll help you keep these reliable SUVs running forever, so definitely check those out. Let's get started. 7. Honda CR-V. Starting at number 7, we have the SUV that's been America's best-selling compact crossover for years, and mechanics will tell you there's a very good reason for that dominance. The Honda CR-V is one of those vehicles that mechanics love because it represents consistent, predictable engineering without the complex systems that create expensive repair bills. This is Honda doing what Honda does best, building straightforward, reliable transportation that simply works. Walk into any mechanic's shop and ask about the CR-V and you'll get a consistent story. These vehicles come in for oil changes, tire rotations, and brake jobs. That's about it. The major repairs that fill service bays with other brands are conspicuously absent from the CR-V's maintenance history. The engine doesn't develop mysterious oil consumption. The transmission doesn't fail prematurely. The electrical system doesn't throw random codes that take hours to diagnose. The current generation CR-V uses Honda's turbocharged 1.5-liter 4-cylinder engine that initially raised eyebrows among mechanics because turbocharging traditionally adds complexity and potential failure points. But Honda's execution has been exemplary. Mechanics report that this engine is holding up remarkably well across hundreds of thousands of miles. The turbo system is conservatively tuned with low boost pressure that doesn't stress components. The oil supply to the turbocharger is generous and well filtered. The cooling system has adequate capacity to manage the additional heat. Early oil dilution issues in cold climates were completely resolved through software updates and hardware improvements in current production. The CVT transmission is where Honda really separates itself from competitors. While mechanics despise most CVTs due to catastrophic failures they see regularly with Nissan and Subaru, Honda's CVT design is fundamentally different and dramatically more reliable. The belt material is superior, the pulley surfaces are harder and more precisely machined, and the fluid cooling system is more sophisticated. Mechanics report seeing Honda CVTs routinely exceeding 200,000 miles with nothing more than fluid changes at recommended intervals. The transmission doesn't shudder, doesn't slip, and doesn't fail catastrophically like CVTs from other manufacturers. The hybrid CR-V gets special mention from mechanics as being even more reliable than the gas model. Honda's hybrid system is proven over millions of miles with battery packs that maintain capacity far longer than competitors. The regenerative braking system reduces wear on friction brakes, meaning brake jobs are needed less frequently. The electric motor assist reduces strain on the gas engine during acceleration, extending engine life. Mechanics appreciate that Honda's hybrid system adds reliability rather than introducing new failure points. The build quality is where mechanics notice the CR-V's advantages during repairs. When they're working on a CR-V, bolts come out cleanly without stripping. Connectors unplug without breaking. Panels come off without cracking. This is a vehicle designed and built by people who understand that technicians will need to service these vehicles, and they've made that service work straightforward rather than frustrating. The engineering is logical, the components are accessible, and the service procedures are well documented. Mechanics also appreciate that when something eventually does wear out on a CR-V, replacement parts are affordable and widely available. You're not waiting weeks for a special order part from overseas. You're not paying luxury car prices for routine components. Honda parts are reasonably priced, readily available at multiple suppliers, and the aftermarket offers quality alternatives for many items. This keeps the long-term cost of ownership low even as the vehicle ages. 6. Subaru Outback. At number 6, we have a vehicle that might surprise people given Subaru's historically mixed reliability reputation, but mechanics who work on modern Subarus have a different story to tell. The current generation Subaru Outback has overcome the head gasket demons and CVT nightmares that plagued earlier models, and mechanics are seeing these vehicles deliver genuine long-term reliability that rivals the best in the industry. The head gasket issue that destroyed Subaru's reputation for years has been completely resolved in current Outbacks. Mechanics who spent years replacing head gaskets on older Subarus barely see this problem anymore. Subaru didn't just patch the issue, they completely redesigned the engine with multi-layer steel gaskets, improved bolt torque specifications, better cooling system design, and more robust overall construction. The failure rates on current engines are actually below industry average, representing a complete reversal of Subaru's troubled past. The CVT transmission in the Outback is genuinely good, and mechanics are as surprised as anyone. Subaru uses a chain-driven CVT rather than the belt design that fails catastrophically in Nissans. The chain is fundamentally more durable and can handle higher torque loads. The cooling system features a dedicated external cooler that's significantly larger than necessary, preventing the overheating that kills other CVTs. Mechanics report that these transmissions are easily exceeding 200,000 miles when owners follow the fluid change schedule. The transmission fluid should be changed every 60,000 miles despite Subaru calling it lifetime, and mechanics who see Outbacks with this maintenance performed report virtually zero transmission failures. The all-wheel drive system is where mechanics really appreciate the Outback's engineering. Subaru's symmetrical AWD is mechanical, simple, and proven over decades. Power goes to all four wheels all the time through a system with minimal electronic complexity. There are no electronic actuators failing at 80,000 miles. There are no software glitches requiring dealer diagnostics. There are no thermal management issues causing system shutdowns. When mechanics work on the AWD system, they find robust mechanical components that are designed to last the vehicle's lifetime. Mechanics also appreciate the Outback's straightforward service procedures. The Boxer engine layout creates excellent side-to-side access for maintenance. These seem like small details, but they matter when you're the one performing the work. Vehicles that are easy to service get maintained properly, which extends their life. The one area where mechanics caution Outback owners is oil changes. The turbocharged engines in particular need fresh oil at regular intervals. Subaru's recommended oil change interval is reasonable, but mechanics suggest staying on the conservative side, especially if you do a lot of short trips or drive in dusty conditions. The turbo requires clean oil for proper lubrication, and extending oil change intervals is false economy that can lead to expensive turbo replacements. 5. Mazda CX-5. At number 5, we have the SUV that mechanics wish more people knew about. The Mazda CX-5 is one of those vehicles that quietly delivers exceptional reliability while everyone focuses on Toyota and Honda. Mechanics who work on CX-5s consistently report that these are some of the most trouble-free vehicles they service, and they're genuinely puzzled why Mazda doesn't get more credit for building such dependable SUVs. The powertrain philosophy is what mechanics appreciate most about the CX-5. Mazda uses naturally aspirated engines paired with traditional automatic transmissions, deliberately choosing proven technology over trendy but problematic alternatives. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine is beautifully simple with port fuel injection. Mechanics report that CX-5 engines routinely exceed 200,000 miles without issues. The oil consumption is minimal, even on high-mileage examples. The timing chain doesn't stretch prematurely like some competitors. The valve cover gaskets don't leak. The water pump lasts the vehicle's lifetime. These engines just work, requiring nothing beyond routine oil changes, air filters, and spark plugs at appropriate intervals. When mechanics see a high-mileage CX-5 come in for service, they know it's going to be a straightforward oil change, not a diagnosis of mysterious problems. The 6-speed automatic transmission is the CX-5's secret weapon for reliability. While the automotive world chases 8, 9, and 10-speed transmissions, Mazda sticks with a proven 6-speed design that's been refined to near perfection. Mechanics love this transmission because it simply doesn't break. The gear changes are smooth, the clutch packs last indefinitely, and the valve body doesn't develop the complex electronic failures that plague modern transmissions with dozens of solenoids. Transmission shops rarely see CX-5s, and when they do, it's usually for routine fluid changes rather than repairs. The electrical system is refreshingly simple and reliable. Mazda hasn't fallen into the trap of adding countless electronic features that become failure points. The infotainment system is straightforward and stable. The wiring is logically organized and properly protected. When electrical issues do occur, which is rare, they're typically easy to diagnose because the system isn't needlessly complicated. Mechanics appreciate that they can troubleshoot electrical problems on a CX-5 without spending hours following spaghetti-like wiring diagrams. Mechanics also note that Mazda parts, while not quite as cheap as domestic brands, are reasonably priced and readily available. The CX-5 shares many components across Mazda's lineup, which means parts production volumes are high and costs are controlled. When something eventually does wear out, replacement parts don't break the bank. The aftermarket also supports the CX-5 well with quality alternatives for routine maintenance items. 4. Lexus RX. At number 4, we entered true luxury territory, but this is luxury backed by legendary reliability. The Lexus RX is the SUV that mechanics recommend when people ask for the most reliable luxury vehicle they can buy. This is Toyota engineering, wrapped in premium materials, and mechanics know from decades of experience that this combination creates vehicles that simply refuse to break down. The powertrain options in the RX are all exemplary from a reliability standpoint. The turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder uses conservative boost levels and robust components that avoid the failures mechanics see in German turbo engines. The hybrid models use Toyota's proven hybrid system that's accumulated millions of trouble-free miles across multiple vehicle lines. Mechanics report that RX hybrid batteries regularly maintain capacity past 200,000 miles, and when they eventually do degrade, replacement costs have dropped significantly from early hybrid days. The build quality is what separates Lexus from mainstream brands. Mechanics working on an RX find manufacturing quality that genuinely rivals European luxury brands at their best. The panel gaps are tight and consistent. The welds are perfectly executed. The paint is thick with proper preparation and clear coat. The sound-deadening materials are substantial and don't degrade over time. Every component feels overbuilt and designed to last. This isn't just good for a Toyota. This is excellent by any standard. The maintenance costs are reasonable for a luxury vehicle. Lexus dealerships provide excellent service, but independent shops can also handle routine maintenance using readily available parts. The service intervals are sensible without excessive frequency that some European brands require. Oil changes use conventional intervals and reasonable fluid capacities. Brake jobs are straightforward without expensive electronic parking brake actuators. Even major services like timing belt replacement on older V6 models are less expensive than comparable European luxury vehicles. Mechanics also note that when something eventually does need repair on an RX, the parts quality is excellent. Lexus replacement parts are manufactured to the same standards as original equipment, meaning repairs truly restore the vehicle to like-new condition. You're not getting cheap replacement parts that fail again shortly. You're getting quality components that will last another 100,000 miles. 3. Toyota 4Runner. At number 3, we have the SUV that mechanics call unkillable. The Toyota 4Runner is legendary in the automotive repair world. Not for how often it's seen, but for how rarely it needs major repairs. This is a vehicle that proves Toyota's reputation for reliability isn't just marketing hype, it's engineering reality. Mechanics who've worked on 4Runners for decades tell stories that sound like legends but are absolutely true. The powertrain is beautifully simple and proven. The 4.0-liter V6 engine has been refined over years and millions of miles. It makes adequate power without being stressed, uses port fuel injection that doesn't have carbon buildup issues, and features robust internal components sized for engines making far more power. Mechanics report 4Runner engines routinely exceeding 300,000 miles without rebuilds. The oil consumption remains minimal even at high mileage. The timing chain doesn't stretch. The valve cover gaskets barely leak. This engine just runs forever. The 5-speed automatic transmission paired with this engine is equally bulletproof. Yes, it's only 5 speeds when competitors have 8 or 9, but this transmission is fundamentally reliable in ways that modern complex automatics aren't. Mechanics rarely see 4Runner transmission failures. The fluid changes are straightforward with easily accessible drain plugs and fill ports. The transmission cooler is adequately sized to prevent overheating. The shift quality remains crisp even at high mileage. This is proven technology that works. The body-on-frame construction is key to the 4Runner's legendary durability. Mechanics working underneath 4Runners find frames that remain solid even in harsh climates. The frame rails are thick and well-coated. The body mounts don't rust out. The structural integrity remains excellent even after years of heavy use and abuse. This construction method allows the 4Runner to handle loads and stresses that would twist unibody crossovers into pretzels. The four-wheel drive system is mechanical, simple, and incredibly reliable. Mechanics appreciate the straightforward design with minimal electronics to fail. The transfer case is robust with proper lubrication and maintenance access. The front and rear differentials are overbuilt for the vehicle's weight and power. Even the optional locking rear differential is a simple mechanical system that either works or doesn't, without complex electronic actuators to diagnose. Mechanics also appreciate how easy the 4Runner is to service. The engine bay has actual space to work. You can reach spark plugs without special tools. The oil filter is accessible without draining the cooling system. The suspension components are logically designed for replacement. When maintenance or repairs are needed, mechanics can complete them efficiently without fighting poor engineering decisions. 2. Honda Pilot. At number 2, we have Honda's 3-row SUV that mechanics consistently recommend for families needing space and reliability. The Honda Pilot delivers everything great about Honda engineering in a package big enough for 7 passengers and all their stuff. Mechanics see Pilots regularly for maintenance and rarely for major repairs, which is exactly what you want from a family vehicle. The V6 engine in the Pilot is one of Honda's finest achievements. This 3.5-liter engine produces 280 horsepower and has proven incredibly reliable across Honda's lineup. Mechanics report Pilot engines routinely exceeding 250,000 miles without issues. The variable cylinder management system, which deactivates cylinders for efficiency, actually works reliably. Unlike similar systems from domestic manufacturers, the timing belt requires replacement at scheduled intervals, but the job is straightforward and prevents more expensive timing chain issues seen in some competitors. The 9-speed automatic transmission initially had some roughness in early versions, but Honda addressed the issues through software updates and hardware improvements. Current Pilots have smooth, reliable transmissions that shift imperceptibly and hold up well over time. Mechanics report that transmission problems are rare when owners follow the recommended fluid change schedule. The all-wheel drive system is Honda's intelligent setup that works seamlessly without the complexity that causes problems in other brands. The interior practicality is where the Pilot really shines for families. Mechanics appreciate that the materials are durable rather than flashy. The second-row seats slide and fold easily without complex mechanisms that break. The third row is genuinely usable and accessible. The cargo area is massive and practical. Everything about the interior is designed for real family use with durability in mind. Mechanics also note that Pilot maintenance is straightforward and affordable. The service intervals are reasonable. The parts are readily available from multiple sources. The procedures are well documented and logical. When families bring their Pilots in for service, mechanics can complete the work efficiently without surprises. This predictability in maintenance costs is valuable for family budgeting. 1. Toyota Sequoia. And at number 1, we have the SUV that mechanics call the absolute most reliable 3-row SUV you can buy. The Toyota Sequoia represents Toyota engineering at its finest, taking everything they've learned from building legendary trucks and creating a family SUV that will genuinely last a lifetime. Mechanics who've worked on Sequoias for years have unanimous respect for this vehicle's bulletproof reliability. The new generation Sequoia uses a hybrid powertrain that combines a twin turbocharged 3.5-liter V6 with an electric motor for 437 horsepower. This sounds complex, but mechanics report that Toyota's execution is exemplary. The turbo system is conservatively tuned and properly cooled. The hybrid components use proven technology from years of Lexus and Toyota hybrid development. The integration is seamless and early examples are showing excellent reliability despite the apparent complexity. What makes mechanics recommend the Sequoia above all others is the underlying engineering philosophy. This is built on the same platform as the Tundra pickup truck using body-on-frame construction designed for serious durability. The frame is massive and overbuilt. The suspension components are sized for commercial use. The drivetrain can handle loads far exceeding what most families will ever demand. Everything is engineered with massive safety margins that ensure longevity.